also helps drain water out from your concrete to help the longevity of that life of that pavement. Then number 15, the Class A crushed stone. What that would be if you do the drive-through, that would be the gravel pad out behind the building. And the difference in wording between like number 6 and number 15 has to do with the size of stone. Number 6 is a clean stone, so there's not going to be any dust in it. It'll help the water fall through that. And number 15 will have more dust, more fine particles in it to help that pack down and be a nice solid parking lot for you.
Okay.
I didn't catch a motion or a second yet.
I guess can I say just one thing? I mean, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff, and I would never claim to be. What does bother me a little bit is that there was that much of a jump from 2 years ago. And I guess we just, we have to put our faith in the bid process, the competitive bid process that comes up to sort all that out. But I will say it seems like a pretty big jump if in fact Denny's right that it's a smaller building. Again, I have no expertise in any of this stuff. I don't know if any of us do. So we have to put our faith in the bid process.
Part of the reason it's a smaller building is the original building, we were going to put in equipment that had not been purchased with FAA money or grant money, and they came back and said, no, you can't put anything in there except for equipment that you purchase with money from the federal government. So that's why the FAA is the one that reduced the size of the building. Now, that in turn caused us to have to then redesign the building too, because they weren't allowing it to be the original size we wanted. I have trouble remembering yesterday, but to a certain degree, what we had going at that time was we were switching engineering firms, if my memory is correct. And
I agree with you that the only bid that I recall that we had was the one we had last year that nobody submitted.
Yeah.
We didn't have a
we never put the
building.
other one out for bid because we were in the process of making some changes and putting a moratorium on building until we had a better vision on what we wanted to do out at the airport. The other bid may very well have been similar, or the other quote that we were getting may have been similar to some of the other projects that we have. If we had pushed forward with it, we may have found out that that cost wasn't a realistic cost also. But that was a preliminary projection. But that's all it was, is preliminary. We had made no efforts to make any bids on it, and I think in defense of the city manager, he probably called and said we weren't doing it because we were in the middle of deciding whether we wanted to do it, whether we needed it. Currently, we have our snow removal equipment sitting outside. We can't do maintenance work on it. We rented the previous building that we used, and so that's no longer available for us. We need the building, period.
Yeah.
And we have done some changes here. The insulating of the building, the potential for it doesn't sound like an unreasonable thing to have sliding doors on the back side of the building. Unfortunately, the FAA doesn't think that's reasonable. But when you start to move equipment through it, and then you have equipment on both ends of the building, this simply makes it easier to get the equipment in and out of the building. This is the number that's come up. I know that the number was less, but again, my recollection is that was a preliminary number, and that we never had any solid bid out there to see if we could ever get it for that price.
everybody else seems to think the other way. I wasn't here.
Well, I was on the airport committee with Bob, and I don't recall this. So,
But this is your estimate here, right?
Yes, this is
Okay,
this
so,
is our engineer's
and-
estimate
and-
of cost.
and, you know, that's fine, I guess, again, I go back, I don't doubt that we need the building.
Yeah, I
I
don't
agree
either.
with that.
I do.
But I think, we just have to put our faith in the competitive bid process to sort out
Yeah.
what's
And
realistic.
you may get bids, and you may get a really competitive bid environment when you get them. You may be
Yeah,
under this
it-
cost,
so,
you may be over. It all depends on the bid environment.
Part of the unfortunate situation went before this was, our percentage was 5%.
Yeah. The FAA
You see,
does that.
and then they, for whatever reason, scrapped the idea, and now we're gonna pay 17%. Now that, there's some pretty good business
Well,
there.
the base bid, which is what the FAA says is eligible, you'll pay 10% of that.
Well, this
Yeah.
comes out to be
And
17%.
that extra bid alternate, the city does not have to build that if you don't.
I
want
understand
to.
that, but I'm just saying this, see,
Yeah.
the bottom line down here, that what we're talking about is just a shade above 17%. Opposed to 5%.
And we fought.
Well, what kind of
and fought
business
trying to
move
get-
was that, you know?
We fought and tried to get the additional stuff that was eligible, and that's just what the FAA, they're the ones paying the major portion of the bill, so they help determine what's eligible.
We went from $12,000 to 61, or what was that say? $61,000.
I think part of it, Denny, is some of those people that are giving you that